Sani Abacha, History Assignment, by Dylan Redding and Oliver Nicklin.
A dictatorship is a country run by a single dictator. A dictator is a ruler with total power over a country, typically one who has obtained control by force. We believe that our chosen dictator, Sani Abacha, ruled his own dictatorship. Sani Abacha acted as a Nigerian military general and served from 1993 until his death in 1998. His death sparks a lot of theories as to how he died. The government announced that his death was due to a heart attack. He was buried on the day that he died without going through autopsy, which led people to think that he had been assassinated, and if so, why? What kind of leader was Sani Abacha to his people, and why was his death so controversial?
To start things off, Abacha received his formal military training in British and Nigerian training colleges in 1969. He fought during the Nigerian Civil War as a platoon and battalion commander, and later became commander of the 2nd Infantry Division in 1975. In 1983, he became the commanding officer of the 2nd Mechanized Division and was appointed a member of the Supreme Military Training College in Kaduna. In addition, Abacha played an important role in the 1983 Nigerian coup d'etat, which brought General Muhammadu Buhari to power, and the 1985 Nigerian coup d'etat, which removed Buhari and brought General Ibrahim Babangida to power. He rose through the ranks of the Nigerian military and achieved his brigadier rank after assisting the overthrow of the president at the time, Shehu Shagari. He was placed as the second in command. In the later 1993 elections, Mashood Abiola won that election and Sani Abacha quickly overthrew him.
There was an economic boost while Abacha led Nigeria. His administration oversaw an increase in the country's foreign exchange reserves from $494 million in 1993 to $9.6 billion by the middle of 1997. He also reduced the external debt of Nigeria from $36 billion to $27 billion by 1997. He also constructed many urban roads, which joined many of the major cities in Nigeria. Abacha also managed to reduce the inflation rate of 54%, which was inherited from Ernest Khan, to 8.5% between the years of 1993 and 1998.
Sani Abacha's rule certainly represented tyranny. His political actions were very cruel, even although Abacha did so much good for the Nigerian economy. But at the same time, this was all coincided with corruption. His standout moment of hypocrisy was helping the ECOWAS monitoring group by sending Nigerian troops to help restore democracy in Liberia and Sierra Leone. This was all done while he tried to get rid of the democratic nation, which was Nigeria. He banned all political activity, fired the majority of the military, controlled the media that would have written about any negative aspects of his rule, and assembled a personal security force of around 3,000 men. Many former military leaders were tried and jailed for treason, such as the previous military leader Olusegun Obasanjo and Abiola. Abiola later died in custody. Wole Soyinka, Nigeria's Nobel laureate, was also charged with treason, although he had already voluntarily left the country. Nigeria was a country that was and is still very rich in oil, and so there was bound to be people who spoke out against the way petrol companies were operating. Abacha's most brutal act was the imprisonment, trial, and subsequent execution for treason of the writer Ken Saro-Wiwa, who was an activist that was concerned with the environmental damage of their region. His regime, to get rid of those former leaders, fell under the fire of many human rights activists.
Sani Abacha told his Emilia Guazo to provide fake national security funding requests, which Abacha approved. The funds were usually sent in the form of cash or traveller's checks by the Central Bank of Nigeria to Guazo, who took them to Abacha's house. Muhammad Sada then arranged to launder the money to offshore accounts. His son, Muhammad Abacha, and his best friend, Alhaj Muhammad M. Sada, were also involved. An estimated $1.4 billion in cash was stolen in this way. In 2004, Abacha and his family were alleged to have stolen $1 billion to $5 billion. His actions placed him fourth on the list of the most self-enriching leaders for the last 2 decades. Furthermore, on the 7th of August 2014, the United States Department of Justice announced the forfeiture of $480 million, the largest in its history, to the Nigerian government. Jersey discovered more than $267 million in funds that were allegedly laundered through the US banking system and deposited in a Jersey account.
So to end off, despite all the economic benefits that Abacha brought to Nigeria, he caused the nation severe harm. His actions show that he violated many people's human rights and was a very corrupt man. He did not set an example of a good leader, as he favored himself rather than the people of Nigeria.